All right, you know what time it is. Once again, as usual, times what about that time? Note to self time already, motherfucking. If you don't know it, now you know, but straight into it. Let's do this motherfucking shit. You know how we do it. Now, here's the thing. I think that when it comes to the world of incels, and I'm not talking about incels like, how whenever you criticize women or say anything about women ever, criticizing them or whatever the case may be, you say anything to disagree with a woman, they'll just call you an incel. I'm not talking about that type of incel. I'm talking about incels for real, like the real life incels, the actual real deal self-proclaimed incels, the ones that are like have difficulty getting women. You know, when it comes to their world, I think it's very stupid for these types of people to go around arguing with each other over who is the most incel. Because to be honest, no matter how much of an incel you think you are, there's always going to be somebody who is more incel than you. And then that way, nobody's problems is going to get solved. Well, really, they're not even trying to solve their problems. They're just trying to bitch and complain about how they suck at getting girls. Nobody wants to talk to them. They have no riz, no game. It's hopeless. It's over. All this bullshit. But the thing about the incels is like, if you look on their forums, they're always complaining and always accusing other incels of not being as incel as they are. Oh, you're not as incel as me. Oh, I'm more of an incel than you. Oh, you think that it's like the oppression Olympics. It's like it kind of reminds me of you know how like non-binary people and shit, how they make up some sort of fucking minority. Like, you know how like this non-binary gender fluid shit was created by a bunch of white people to try to feel like minorities when they're not. If I can't be a minority, then I'm going to create my own minority and then, you know, have some sort of place in the oppression Olympics where people can feel sorry for me and I could be like a special little snowflake. That's basically what this incel movement is. And I'm not just talking about, see, the thing is, I'm a red pill. You know, I'm talking mostly about like black pillars, and then like incels. Like incels, they're more tied in with not red pill, but they're mostly tied into the black pill. But I'm talking about the black pill incels. A lot of them, they are just stupid as fuck. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's just, they always try to compete with each other to see who is most incel out of all of, like who is the most incel of all. The king of the losers is what they're battling to be amongst themselves. And the thing is, there's this stupid word going around that I keep hearing them say called a fake cell. You know, there's like a division between incels and, you know, it's like a faction. There's like fake cells and then there's true cells, which to be honest, it's stupid. It's a stupid, I think what's stupid, the thing that I think that's stupid that incels do, they always use the word cell in every word that they try to coin, like cell in everything. What is a fake cell? What is a true cell? What is a dick cell? A face cell? A spurg cell? Everything is just cell. It's just, they just use cell in everything that they say. Just the word is cell is supposed to be short for celibate. Dick cell? That's what I heard some fucking YouTuber say. What the fuck does that even mean? Dick celibate? Face celibate? Stupid words that they use. Their words that they coin are just so dumb. They just use the word cell and everything. We get it. I mean, but yeah, let's get back to the topic of, you know, fake cell and true cell, or like half cell or whatever the fuck they try to say. It's like, I think that the word fake cell is a stupid word. It is the dumbest word I've ever heard in my fucking life. What the fuck is a fake cell? First of all, who the fuck tries to be a fake cell? Who tries to pretend to be an incel? An incel is something that you don't want to be called. An incel is something that even if you are an incel, you would pretend not to be an incel just so people won't make fucking fun of you. Like, who wants to be an incel? Who is trying to be an incel? Who the fuck wants to relate to being an incel? Incels don't even want to be incels. So for you to try to, so for people who are incels to be like, oh, well, people are trying to be like us to relate to us. No, who is trying to relate to being a loser? Who's trying to relate to being a failure? Who's trying to relate to being a genetic failure? Nobody wants to be that shit. You guys are a bunch of hopeless, genetic loser, woe is me, I feel sorry for myself ass motherfuckers who just want to cry and bitch about how bitterly unfair your lives are. Who the fuck wants to be an incel? For you to call somebody a fake cell, who the fuck is pretending to be that? Who wants to pretend to be an incel? First of all, people who are incels for real don't want to be incels. So if you don't want to be an incel, if you are one, then why the fuck would you pretend to be one? The fuck? That's the stupidest thing. People who are incels for real don't want to be that. And you try to accuse people who are pretending to be incels. Like people just want to be that. Fuck you. Fuck off. But anyways, this Truecel, Fakecel dichotomy is stupid. In my opinion, when it comes to incels, you know, you're always going to, if you are an incel, there's always going to be somebody who is more incel than you are. You think that you're the biggest incel, but there's always going to be somebody who is more incel than you. Or you are going to be less incel than another person, or you might be more incel than another person. But the thing is, I just think when it comes to incels, there's like a, you know, there's certain stages to inceldom. You know, like some people are incels due to circumstances to where they've had they've had experiences with women, they talk to women, but they're involuntarily celibate in terms of where they can't seal the deal, or they can't get out of the friend zone, or you know, like they're friends with girls but they haven't been in relationships with women. So like you or you know are an incel, you know. Now here's the thing, when it comes to incels, you know, most incels are virgins, but not every incel is a virgin. There's some guys who have had sex with women before, but they're still involuntarily celibate because they want to have sex with women, but they can't. You know, they have not been able to have sex with women, and they haven't had sex with women in a long ass time. So, you know, let's say if you haven't had sex and if you're someone who has been, if you are someone who has been trying to have sex and you have been failing epically, and it's been over a year or more, I would say probably, let's say if you've been actively trying to have sex for, I'd say, to be fair, for a number of years, but you have not been able to get sex, then I would say at a certain point in time, you are an incel. You would become an incel. Now, just because you haven't been having sex in a while and you've been trying to and you failed, that wouldn't necessarily make you an incel. It would just depend on how long you've gone without having sex, that you've been trying to have sex, but you can't. Now, see, if you have been trying to have sex, but you can't because you've been getting rejected, you know, it's a dry spell. But for how long is that dry spell going to last until it's tethers on the, you know, it sort of starts to straddle on the incel territory, you know? Like, for example, let's say if somebody hasn't had sex in 5 years and they've been trying to have sex with girls desperately and they fail at every turn, like that person is a fucking incel. You know, even if they've been sexually active, they are an incel because they are involuntarily celibate. They have been trying to have sex and they're celibate involuntarily because they don't want to be celibate, but they have to be because women don't want to have sex with them. Now, I know there's going to be a bunch of incels calling me a dumbass and, you know, wanting to wring my neck and all this shit, but listen, just bear with me, just let me explain, all right? The definition of an incel is an individual who is celibate involuntarily. Whether or not you've had sex or not, although I would say the overwhelming majority of most incels are virgins, not every incel is a virgin. Just like not every black-pilled person is a virgin. Now, if you've went a long time without having sex, that is what would be called a dry spell. But if that dry spell lasts for a long ass time, for years even, it would be safe to say that that person is an incel if you have been trying to have sex actively, but you can't. And that's why I said initially, you know, there's levels to inceldom. Now, his level of inceldom is not as severe because at least he has had sex before. So I would say he is a level 0 incel, or like maybe a level 1 incel, you know? I mean, he's an incel, but his level of inceldom is not as severe. It's something that he's one of those incels that can actually escape, but he's still an incel, you know? It's like, for example, you know, with cancer, you know, there's certain cancers that can be, you know, taken, you know, there's certain cancers that are serious and there's certain cancers that are more severe. His level of inceldom is more so just in the beginning stages. It's more so like, I would say, in my opinion, he would be a level 0 incel. because he is an incel that has had sex before, but he is undergoing and what is called an eternal dry spell that lasts for a number of years. I mean, I wouldn't call him a fake cell because he's not faking anything. He's not pretending to be an incel. He's not pretending to be something he's not, you know? I mean, just because your level of inceldom is more severe than his level of inceldom, that doesn't make him less of an incel, you know? So I would say, you know, his level of inceldom, I'd say he's probably a level 0 incel because he's had sex, but, you know, he can't recreate that moment of, you know, being able to have sex with women because he's bad at talking to girls just like y'all, but his case is not that severe. Now, see, let's say if you're someone who has been on dates with women, you have kissed but never had sex, or, you know, you have not, you can't escape the friend zone, but you still talk to girls and all that shit, your level of inceldom is more severe than the guy who has had sex, but at least you're still talking to girls and shit, you know? So I would say your case is more severe. Then you have the guys who whenever they try to talk to girls, they're so ugly, or like they're viewed as creepy, repulsive. They get no chance with women at all. When women don't even women get disgusted with them. You know, they've never had any sex. They're virgins. You know, whenever they've been rejected by every girl they've ever spoken to, it's like, I would say from there, you know, your inceldom has probably went from, let's see, that's like level 2 inceldom, you know? Now, I would say for me, the worst case of inceldom is the type of incels that are afraid to talk to girls, shy, nervous, introverted. You've never even been rejected by women before. You're creepy, you're weird, you're socially awkward, you're all of that shit. You've never even been rejected by girls because you've never even had the chance to even go up to girls, to even talk to them so you can get rejected. It's like your level of nervousness and fear when talking to women is so severe that it controls every aspect of your life. I would say that's probably level 3 inceldom. I would say, you know, all of those people, what they all have in common, those are the stages of people who are incels, but it's like there are levels to it. It's levels to being incels. But I don't think that there would be a such thing as a fake cell, because who is trying to fake being an incel? And then this other stupid word, a Truecel. What is a Truecel? I mean, to be honest, there's no such thing as a fake cell, and there's no such thing as a Truecel. Like, because to be honest, you know, all those people that I've described at the levels of inceldom, there's always going to be somebody within that group that are going to call each other fake cells. You know, regardless of whatever experience that you have, you're going to be looked at as a fake cell because, to be honest, like, listen, everybody is a fake cell to somebody. And the thing is, when it comes to a true cell, do any true cells actually exist? Because you might think that you're a true cell, but there's always going to be somebody who is more incel than you. It's just like with, whenever people say, you know, whenever people talk about their problems that they have in life and they say, oh, well, there's always going to be somebody there's always someone with bigger problems than you. There's people who are starving, who don't have food, who are all of this shit. Like, you're going through problems, and there's people who are saying, well, there's other people with bigger problems than you. I mean, the thing is, just because there's other people with bigger problems than you, should that mean that your problems don't matter anymore? And I feel like that's what incels are doing to each other whenever they talk that shit about how, oh, you know, you're a fake cell. You're not a true incel like me. I mean, there's probably other people who think you're a fake cell. So it's like, does a true cell actually even exist in the grand scheme of things? Because, to be honest, the more we keep on thinking about how many people have bigger problems than us, at the end of the day, whose problems actually ever get solved? And the more people that we keep on thinking are true cells, like, I'm more of an incel than you, to be honest, if there's so many people who are more incel than others, who's actually a true cell? Like, everyone's a fake cell to somebody. Nah, but this dichotomy between fake cell and true cell, it does nothing but cause derision, cause more dissension amongst people who have the same issues. And instead of trying to help each other get through being an incel, to help each other get past it and shit, y'all guys are trying to cannibalize each other with this bullshit. But yeah, the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is, you know, their incels exist, but There are just certain levels of incels that are more severe than others, but just because your level of incel is not as severe as another person's, it doesn't change the fact that, you are an incel or whatever. But the thing is, who the fuck wants to be an incel anyway? Why is that something that you want to be? Why is that something that you want to tout being anyway? Most people would want to try to get out of being an incel. Most people would be ashamed to have that label tied to them. And the fact that people who aren't even incels get called incels as an insult to try to make fun of anything that, any criticizing that you say about women, they throw that incel word as an insult to shame you. The fact that what you are, what you identify as, the label that you motherfucking incels claim to defend, what you want to identify yourself as is being used as an insult. People use what you identify with as an insult to shame other people who don't want to be incels like you. And you tout something that you're ashamed of. But yeah, watching videos like, The Honest Guy and Base Contrarian and DBDR and all them, it just makes me think to myself, it's like everybody, like the word Fakecel is being used or is being tossed around like fucking the word witch in the Salem fucking witch trials, man. The word Fakecel is being used around like the fucking Salem witch trials, man. Everybody's just accusing people of being Fakecels and shit. And listen, here's the thing. For me, myself, who is not an incel, I'm looking from the outside. I'm on the outside looking in. And, I, know my incel terminology. I do research on the incel shit. I look it up. I'm pretty familiar with incel lingo and shit like that. I guess you could say there was a time in my life where I was an incel because I didn't lose my virginity until my 20s, but still, I would say at a certain point in time, I understand what a lot of them go through because I was there. I mean, my shit might not have been as severe as them. Yeah, but it doesn't take away from the fact that at the end of the day, these people are just competing with each other over who has it the worst. Like I said, like the oppression Olympics. Yeah, but anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say for now. But until then, I'm out. Let's see. I will make a follow-up video if I need to. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for now. Oh yeah, one more thing that I need to say. Incels need to stop acting like they're the gatekeepers of suffering. They're the gatekeepers of depression. They're the gatekeepers of male loneliness. And, you may think that you have it worse than the rest of us. But the thing is, it's not even that they have it worse than the rest of us. Because some of them don't know what it's like to be fucked over by a woman, to be used by a woman, to be heartbroken by a woman, to have any of these horrible things happen, with women, and you guys are lucky that y'all have never had experienced this type of heartbreak, I mean, y'all struggles are different, but you do not have it worse than the rest of the men. Matter of fact, there's a lot of men who consider you guys lucky for never going through shit. Guys who have been through divorces and have had half of their shit taken from them. They went from living in mansions to now they live in a crappy studio apartment of $500 a month. Shit like that from dealing with women. You've never been through no shit like that because you're an incel. There's probably guys wishing that they were in your position right now. I'm not saying that they have it better or worse, but it's just a different experience. You guys are not the gatekeepers of struggle, loneliness, depression, male suicide, none of that shit. You guys don't own suffering. Y'all don't own depression. And I just feel like men need to, whether or not you're an incel or not, y'all need to take time to try to at least understand each other rather than trying to put people down for not being like you on some Kendrick Lamar shit. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say. But until then, I'm out. You already know what it is, man. It's the underdog motherfucking soldier. I have spoken. And I approve this message. Deuces.